just the reality of sitting here knowing that the capacity to slaughter could disappear today, and we don't know when it would be available again. When you've built your livelihood on farming, it's scary times.
Tammy and Stuart Jonas have been raising pigs and cattle at their property outside Daylesford for 9 years. They run their own butchery and usually rely on the local abattoir to slaughter their stock. But like several other meatworks across Victoria, last week the abattoir was forced to shut down briefly after COVID cases were linked to the facility.
Even before the pandemic, we just knew that the potential loss of access to that abattoir was a risk, and we'd rather control everything from start to finish.
Under new restrictions, Victorian meatworks will operate at only 2/3 capacity, with staff wearing full personal protective equipment. The new measures will inevitably slow the pace of meat production.
The thing that's really obvious to most people is that our supply chains are far too long. They have too many pieces in them, and each of those pieces are very, very large operations. If we had community control of the supply chain, we'd have a lot more distributed risk.
Fed up with the uncertainty, Tammy and Stuart are now planning to build their own abattoir.
There is a growing movement of people who are looking at these options.
It reduces our risk because we don't have to rely on centralised abattoir or butchery services, but it also makes us a lot more profitable.
We have had the great difficulty of COVID and the impact of COVID cases in the abattoirs. So that will slow it down, and all the cleaning will slow it down. But the actual pipeline will continue to flow. So people, again, should not panic.
Stage 4 restrictions are also affecting the textile industry. Today was the last day of full manufacturing for Melbourne fashion brand Nobody Denim.
We've only got limited stock at this point in time that we've built over the last 6 to 8 weeks. We cannot produce anything further for the next 8 to 10 weeks.
When the pandemic first took hold, John Condelis pivoted to making masks in addition to denim. But from tomorrow, his team will stop making jeans, and he's not just worried about the next 6 weeks.
We've got retailers and people who want product now. We're unable to provide that. Therefore, will they just hang on for the next 8 weeks and wait? I don't know.
He's not the only manufacturer facing the prospect that consumers could take their business elsewhere.
Even with COVID, it's still a very competitive market out there, and customers are after convenience, they're after quality. So if Australian companies and Victorian companies are unable to provide that for a period of time, then that may see customers move away.
New border measures announced across the country today are adding another layer of complexity.
It's another setback, obviously, in terms of the economic recovery. Businesses will now have to move to make sure that they can comply with the latest border restrictions.
The regional city of Orange in New South Wales is a long way from Melbourne, but business owners like Chris Peasley are still feeling the pinch from the lockdown measures.
Getting supply through the pandemic at the moment has been really difficult. So I've had to travel through most of winter on half stock, and also a lot of brands just cancelling their winter as well.
His menswear boutique relies on deliveries from overseas and from Victoria. He hasn't had a steady flow of stock since March.
With Melbourne going into the lockdowns now, that's going to be at least 40 to 50% of my business that might be pushed back an extra 6 to 8 weeks. So we do find that there are times where we have to say we just don't have it and we don't know whether we can get it. We've just got to take day by day and just keep positive.
Back in Victoria, Tammy and Stuart Jonas are focused on stabilising the future of their industry, but they fear the road ahead is going to be more challenging than anyone has anticipated.
I'm so the opposite of surprised. It's the sort of thing that we've been preaching was a risk for years, in fact. This is what we've been expecting, but it's worse than we realised it would be, to live through.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 7:30's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.